Dive deep into the legends that ignite. Cracking cans cast where the legends roam. Explore the mystery, feel right at home. Buried in voices, share a tale so grand. Join the adventure, take a stand.
What's going on, crackheads? Welcome back to another episode of the Cracking Cans podcast. The podcast where we crack open a cold one and dive into the weird, the haunted, and the straight up cursed. I'm one half of your Cracking Cans duo, Corey. Sitting over here, Mike.
Yep, that's me.
We're fixing to record another topic.
We are. Well, that's what you think.
We're not recording when they hear this.
No. But I am, since I have your attention here, I am planning to just go on for an hour about a sales pitch that you will love. All you have to do, give me every dollar you have and your social security number.
Well, you're not going to get much.
Well, I can with your social security number.
You're gonna get some warrants and stuff that you don't want.
It's called loans. I'll get loans. Anywho, you got too many background checks. You don't have warrants.
Yeah.
You coach kids sports.
Yeah, you're right.
Allow you to have warrants. You do that. I do not believe. But yeah, so I've taken past two topics I presented. We've been over in England. I'm bringing us back to the England of the U.S., Ohio.
We're back abroad.
Back abroad, yeah. So we're in the great state of Ohio, which is okay.
I don't mind.
I feel like we're indifferent about Ohio. New Jersey, on the other hand, do not get us started.
Yeah, we haven't talked about them in a while.
New Jersey?
Yeah,
it's been a hot minute, and that's probably for good reason. Yeah.
Next.
Anyhow, but yeah, so I'm going to take us. We're going to go into Helltown, Ohio.
Yeah, this is a topic I looked into like over a year ago.
Yeah,
I don't really remember much about it. I mean, I remember things are crazy a little
I think
bit.
So the best way to, I guess, describe Helltown, Ohio is if you just took every single urban legend that you can think of in your brain and just plopped them in a spot. That's this town. And a lot of them are urban legends in the way where they're just stories that were just passed down or whatever. And yeah.
I was thinking about that a little bit today too, and I'm not saying Helltown's going to be like this, but I was just in my head a little bit on the way home from work just thinking, and here close to us we have Centralia.
Yeah.
And we, being where we live in Pennsylvania, we know that there's really nothing to Centralia.
Nope.
Like there's a mine burning underground.
Right.
That's what it is. But if you look up Centralia on the internet, people that don't live in this area, it seems like
it is hell.
Yeah.
According to them, like it is literally like the mouth of hell is coming. Because when you drive through Centralia, once in a while you'll look over, you'll just see smoke coming out of the ground from just random holes and shit like that from over in the coal region. And
but I was just thinking a little bit, I wonder how many of these places out there that we look into, we talk about in other states, stuff like that, is similar to Centralia, whereas the locals are like, oh, that's just Centralia. Like, there's nothing spooky going on there. Whereas somebody 5 states away is like, holy shit, Centralia.
There's a town on fire.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just something I was thinking about today.
That's a good point. And I actually read on Reddit a little bit. I don't have any Reddit stories on here, but I read a little bit on Reddit about this town and stuff. And, yeah, that seems like it is pretty much the thought of, this is just a town that, as we'll find out, got bought out by the government and yada yada. There's nothing to it. And I'm going to pose a question kind of about this a little bit later, so I'll save it for later and everything. But yeah, I think it's a good point. But you ready to get into this beer that I have here?
Oh
today?
Yeah, I've been drinking it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to keep drinking it.
Yeah, I'm drinking it out of my brandy new cup that we just opened today, thanks to Chumming with the Spirits, guys. If you haven't checked out Chumming with the Spirits, head over to YouTube and give them a sub because they got some fun stuff. And they got stuff. They just pump stuff out. Yeah, pumping it out.
Pumping.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm not drinking out of the cup because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, so I'm going to wash it first. Mike?
People didn't need to know that I didn't wash it.
Well, now they know.
Well, I know. That's what I mean. They didn't need to know that, but now they know.
We crack open that box, that son of a bitch poured the beer right in it, and
I did. I feel like I just really wanted to get into character of those guys. Like I want to be like, I want to know how Parachum and JD drink. Like I want to be them right now.
You still got your shoes on.
I still got my shoes. Yeah. This is true. Yeah. So I'm not totally in tune with the earth like Parachum gets, but yeah. But today I have a brew from New Belgium Brewing, which there was at one point in my life where New Belgium was my favorite.
They've been around a while.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the
like the OGs. Yeah. And they used to I can't for the life of me, and I'm sure somebody that's listening to this will know. The Voodoo Ranger line used to be, I think it was Ranger. That's all it was called before. It was just Ranger IPA. And then they changed it to Voodoo, and they kind of turned it into almost like their entire identity was this Voodoo Ranger. But it used to just be Ranger IPA, which is what it used to be one of my favorite IPAs of all time. I feel like when it went Voodoo, I don't know if my brain just tricked me, but it wasn't the same beer. You know what I mean? You never have that where it's like,
oh, yeah.
This very well could be the same beer, but in my brain it's named different, so it's not.
It's not.
There's something going on here. So New Belgium Brewery was founded in 1991 in Fort Collins, Colorado by Jeff Lebeski and Kim Jordan. And they were actually inspired to start this brewery while they were on a bicycle beer tour in Belgium. I don't know if it was a beer tour or just a tour, but they were bicycling over in Belgium when they started talking. And that's when they decided, like, we should really brew beer. So when they got home, I guess they were a little bit into the brewing process and all that and stuff. Once they saw the breweries over there, they got into brewing hardcore at home, basement setup, and that's pretty much where New Belgium started. So it's famous for its flagship Fat Tire Amber Ale, which is also that's a good brewski. It's like a nice just drink it all day.
I feel like that's like their most common, isn't it?
I think at one point it was. I'm going to say that the Voodoo
overtook
Ranger
it.
is now, yeah. But they might be like 1A, 1B type thing, you know what I mean? So the brewery quickly grew to become a major U.S. craft brewery, and it became 100% employee-owned in 2012 before being acquired by Kieran-owned Lion Little World Beverage in 2019. And today we have Voodoo Ranger, but we have the Imperial IPA, a rare blend of choice hops and complex, rich flavor. This 9%er was 70 IBU, and it's brewed with the best of Delta, Bravo, Centennial, Cascade, Calypso, and Mosaic hops to just bring that flavor to you.
That's pretty high IBUs.
Yeah, 70?
70, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
You start getting close to 100, like that's up there.
104 is...
That's really up there.
Yeah, 112.
Oh, man.
7.
Shit.
7.
Teen?
No, just 7.
Just 7?
It's pretty low.
That's real low.
Anyways. So to tie in with this episode, this town, as we're going to find out, eventually became what we know today as a state park. It's run and patrolled by the Rangers. But what seemed like a small piece of land might just hold a curse. And a wicked curse that makes the urban legends not just tall tales, but like the name Voodoo, it might just be a land cursed entirely.
Ooh, I like that tie-in.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a good tie-in.
Dude, we were talking about my Boo Hag tie-in. So if you haven't listened to the Boo Hag, even if you don't want to listen to the whole episode, just go ahead and listen to the first 10 minutes. I picked I don't remember what the brewery was. It's whatever. But the name of the beer was Boo Coo. So my tie-in was Boo Hag starts with Boo, and so does Boo Coo. So I've come a long way in a year when it came to picking beers. So I'm definitely proud of that. That's I'll walk past Boo Coo at the distributor like every time I'm there, and it makes me laugh every time. It's like, you idiot, that's the best you could come up with was Boo Coo. And just the way I deliver it too, it's Boo Coo. Like, okay. And you just looked at me like, that's it? It's like, that's it. That's entirely it. I'm so sorry. So let's cheers to this. It's good. We were talking a little bit earlier. It's boozy. Like, you definitely
taste those 70 IBUs.
I think you taste that 9% in it. I definitely get hit with it a little bit. But it's solid. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's drinkable.
I don't have any complaints against it.
I'll have to get the regular Voodoo Ranger and try that again and see what I think of that. It's been so long, but yeah, that used to be my favorite brew. I was remember back when craft beer, you just couldn't buy cans of it. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a thing. Everything was bottles. Bottles or nothing.
And it was, I bought a lot back in the day, like just the 24 packs of bottles.
Well, yeah. Well, living in Pennsylvania,
that was before
you
could buy 6-packs and shit.
Back in Pennsylvania, you had 6-pack shops or distributors. There was no in between. So you could either, and at least where we live at locally, a lot of 6-pack shops were like pizza places and stuff like that. Grocery stores, gas stations, none of that had beer.
Yeah, they weren't allowed.
So you go to random pizza shops, and they never had any kind of selection,
it's
really.
Like Coors Light, Bud Light.
Yeah, it's super basic.
Yeah.
But yeah, since they opened that up.
And that's only been in the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't been very long, which is crazy. Because I know, when I was working in the beer distributor, we get people coming in all the time. They're like, what do you mean you can't get... sorry, they'd be somebody from
well, yeah, and you know how
state.
working there, some cases come as 2 12-packs.
Yeah.
So people just grab 1 12-pack. So you got to buy both.
You got to buy both, yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't want both. It's like, well, I can't sell you 1 12-pack. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Glad we're over that.
Yeah. It was nice before grocery stores and convenience stores could just it was just nice before it felt like everybody could sell beer. But obviously, I'm a little partial to that, too. So, with that.
Let's go there.
Okay. Before we go there, I have a couple sources. I think you are really going to like the first source.
Oh.
Allthat'sinteresting.com. Oh, dude. Do you need to change?
Not yet.
UnitedStatesGhosttowns.com. You're not going to like this one as much. Cleveland.com. And the last one, and probably the best article as far as the urban legends go, ghostofohio.org.
Ooh,
yep.
that's it's a good one.
Yeah. You know it's legit.
EDU is a little more legit, but org.
Or it's right up there. It's closest we're going to get. We're not going to find too many EDUs.
No.
I found an EDU for the Doris Bithers episode, but that's because of the paranormal group that was at a college. So I actually found an EDU one there.
Nice.
As far as I know, that's the only one I could ever remember that ended in EDU. So before we get into the urban legends and all that, we got to get into what was Helltown before it was Helltown, because it wasn't originally called Helltown. This is more of a nickname given to it. So this area was surveyed by Alfred Woolcock and James Stafford in 1805. And at this time they came there, they checked it out. They're like, yeah, hell yeah, we can do some stuff here. But then they went back to Connecticut where they were from because winter was coming and they knew they weren't going to be able to build a cabin and shelter and all that. So they left, they came back, and that's when they built the first structure, which was the cabin that they would live in. And this was the beginning. And over time, eventually, in January of 1911, this tract of land became known as Boston. Because apparently
they were from Connecticut.
Yeah, so it was for the
over,
Northeast.
Yeah,
this is like a new Boston. I don't know. It's like I figured that's just what they know how to spell.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
They just tried to bring a piece of Boston to
Ohio. More or less. It was
a piece of New England to Ohio.
Yeah, to pay homage to that tract of land or whatever. So in this little tract of land, the main economic source was farming and milling. So this town was made on the banks of the Cuyahoga River. So helped all the mills go, and that's pretty much what was able to establish this town to be able to be put on the map. So the river was important for the town's growth, specifically by the building of the Ohio and Erie Canal. So whenever I hear the Erie Canal, I always think that there's a Rugrats episode where they're traveling. I can't even remember where they're traveling to, but they're singing a song like da 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 da, and then the grandpa's in the back and he just goes 15 miles on the Erie Canal. That's all I can ever. Whenever I read Erie Canal, I just hear the grandpa from Rugrats singing.
I don't remember that
episode,
but
down the Erie Canal.
That was a damn good show growing up.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
So when the canal was built, this is what connected Akron to the river and Erie, which helped to transport goods all the way down to Columbus and parts of Pennsylvania, which was a major economic boost for the area. So as the town grew and the region grew, the entire area was known as Boston Township. So it was never really like the town of Boston. It just, this whole area was known as Boston in a township, kind of like a county type thing. So there are multiple towns within the bigger area. The area continued to prosper, and in came the railroad system, specifically Valley Railroad. So this helped with transportation, but it also started to kill the money that the canal brought in. So we had waterfront saloons, we had hotels, restaurants, all these buildings and everything were built right on the river. So obviously when you have the railroad come in, now the river's essentially rendered useless as far as transportation goes. People aren't traveling it like they were before.
That's old news.
That's old news, exactly.
Yeah.
So this saw a decline in the area, and the decline continued well into the 1970s. But that's when politicians saw that this was a perfect opportunity. They could swoop in here, they could buy the town, and they could make the national forest they always wanted to make.
So they just wipe out this town to make a forest?
More or less.
Yeah.
So it seemed like perfect, and they had a large stretch of undeveloped land between Akron and Cleveland. And I think what it was, and you know how it is kind of in our area, like we're small town people. So you know how it is when we drive around some neighboring towns and stuff like that. Some of them are just an eyesore. There's not really any economic growth. There's nothing going in these towns. So this is how the government didn't see the people that lived in these towns, the families, the generations that lived in these, that meant nothing to them. This was just a perfect stretch of land where they could build a national forest. And after a few meetings, a few arguments, eventually Senators John Sieberling and Ralph Regula were able to get the bill passed, which was funny because one was a Democrat and one was a Republican. So that would never happen in today's economic climate at all.
Wow.
But yeah, they both pushed it. And Gerald Ford, the newly appointed president following the Nixon resignation, what happened with President Nixon? Well, if you don't know,
Yeah.
you probably ought to look it up.
Wikipedia.
True. I was waiting for you to say what it was, and then you didn't. You hit Wikipedia. So I'm not telling you either. You're just going to have to go look it up on your own now. But yeah, so this was like Gerald Ford's one of the first things that he signed, and it was to make this place a national park. And a lot of the speculation was that Ford was essentially told, you better pass this bill if you want to have any shot at being able to be reelected in the next election. Like this was a cornerstone on something that he thought he was going to be able to build. The problem? There were still people that lived in this town. This wasn't just some ghost town that he was just buying and just wrecking everything.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
The episode I did of Lake Lanier.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Like
Same
they
thing.
put that lake in. There was a town there,
Yep.
and they pretty much said, like, you have to leave. And that was it. And some people...
The only difference, I think, with that, I almost think that was worse, like the Lake Lanier, because that was primarily like an African-American town.
Yeah.
So it was more so like we're in the Deep South. We're at the time of like Sam Crow and all that. So it's like, we don't, you people just get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't get paid diddly squat to get out of their town.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, but I doubt it. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what these people got paid in Ohio. I would assume it wasn't this crazy amount of money or anything like that.
A bundle of firewood.
Yeah.
That's what they got.
Yeah. But also they were basically told like, hey, we're buying your house and you got to be out in like 3 weeks. So these people didn't even have enough time to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it was quick.
Yeah. It was like, get out now. And some people hunkered down and tried to stay as long as they could. But basically by being given this option, this is where Helltown was born. See, people think there was a reason that all this happened so fast. It's not like it was necessary. It was just all of a sudden, this had to be a national forest. This is how a town became not a town anymore, but the epicenter of just about every single urban legend you can think of, from mutated animals, satanic churches, spirits stuck behind tragedy. We got haunted cemeteries. We have bugs eating people. We don't have bugs eating people, but that'd be cool. That was the first
I was
thing.
shaking my head.
Yeah.
You had me.
Bugs eating people. They were probably there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying bugs ate
The
people
dead
there.
people, they're probably eating them up.
Mosquitoes,
Oh, yeah, mosquitoes.
they probably ate people.
They do eat people.
But that's how tragedy struck this town. So let's get into what is now known as Helltown, the urban legend Wasteland. But before we do that, let's take a little beer break.
We're back from the beer break, folks. We're ready to hear more of Mike's episode about Helltown.
Yeah, and like I said, I just cannot stress the fact enough that this is it's urban legend after urban. I didn't even include some of them because there were just so many. And
This was since like the 70s?
Yeah,
So that's
like,
that's only 50.
So basically, this took place from like 1970 till like the mid 20-teens. So like 2015, 2016 is where a lot of these like take place in that realm. Not a super long time.
But when the town turned into like this natural forest,
Yeah,
was
mid-70s.
70s. So
And when I say it turned into a natural forest, they didn't get to bulldozing these houses anytime soon. So this town
So a
literally
lot of them
just
are
sat
just-
vacant
oh, okay.
for 40 years. Sat vacant before they ever got to bulldoze them or anything like that.
What the hell were they in such a hurry for?
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
like that's the biggest thing that nobody understands. A lot of it. The only thing I can really gather from what I heard was this was supposed to be Gerald Ford's claim to fame, these national park, this big project, yada yada. This was going to be what was going to make him be reelected. All this, like, this was all part of that, and that's why I think it was in a hurry to be like, look what I did, because we're dealing with a guy that he wasn't elected president. You know, Nixon resigned, he got put in president, so all of a sudden he's already on a shorter leash. He wasn't elected, essentially.
So he's got to do something.
He's got to do something big, but he doesn't have a full 4 years to do it either, you know? So now all of a sudden he's 2.5, 3 years. He has to try and make these significant moves to be like, look what I did in my presidency.
Just hearing this whole story, it boggles me because even back then, how much land was available that he could have picked any other areas and turned it into a natural park or natural forest.
Well, there was a reason why it was this area, because it actually butted up with an area that was already natural. Like, yeah, so this was like on the fringe. It was more of expanding that to make it bigger. And,
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
It was around this time. I'm going to see if I can get it right. And I might get it wrong, but from what I understand is around this time, this is when a lot of the state-run forest, this was basically the start of the national forests and stuff like that. So a lot of these forests and stuff that were run by the state, now all of a sudden were under government control. So they needed to make kind of a splash when it came to that. You know, this is what we did, and look at, we're already expanding this national forest and stuff. I don't know. I guess they just want people to see what the upside was. I don't know. But the first legend we're going to get into, and I'm going to say out of like all the legends, this one and another one are probably like 1 and 2. We're going to talk about the satanic church in this town. So in this town, there was an old church which shows what looks like upside down crosses all around it. The church was literally built with upside down crosses on the church. And some of the locals said even before the town shut down, this church seemed like it was never open. And the church still isn't open because there are people still coming in and out of this town. This church is not open no matter the time. But there are stories that even though it's not open, you'll see dark cloaked figures come out of the woods at night and enter the church. And this is where the Satanist, perfect for urban legends, enters the picture. And we got to think, we're in satanic panic. At this time, satanic panic, anything and everything that happens is because Satanists are involved and they are pushing their agenda on all the churches and trying to manipulate our youth and yada yada. So people that have been in Helltown at night have said that when you go anywhere near this church, you'll start to hear chanting. So legend has it that this church was used for not just animal sacrifices, but there might have been some human sacrifices in it too. Mainly children.
Hey, I'm piecing this all together.
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get too political over here.
Okay.
But seems like it's political.
I mean, I get that's my personal theory on this whole place. I get into it later. With the release of the recent files that have been released in America,
that's where
when you come to like children sacrifices, eating,
satanic rituals.
I don't even know. There's so not to get too far off topic or anything, and I didn't read a bunch of the files or anything, but when you get into this stuff, I don't even think this stuff's satanic. There's just there. I don't know if we have. I mean, we can go and we've already talked about possibly doing like a whole episode on this, but we might be dealing with a force that might be beyond our understanding altogether.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, what if this area is just the perfect fucking concoction for summoning bullshit, and that's why they wanted all these people off of it so that they could have their breeding grounds for fucking satanic bullshit.
Yeah, man. I'm not. I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at all. So on top of all this stuff, the sacrificing, the hooded people, on top of all that, there's said to be a man that lives in the basement guarding the Church of Satan. So he said that he won't show his face to anybody, so like somehow make sure to always cover his face as he chases people out of the church. Which I thought was so funny because I just imagine somebody that looks like they just sneezed. Like, you know, you're telling your kids, do the vampire sneeze. That's what I just picture him like running like Phantom of the Opera. Oh, I don't know. That's what I just picture. But also people said that they believe that he would be lighting candles in the church because you would go past this church, it's abandoned, nobody's in this town, and there's candles lit like in the windows of this church, just burning in the middle of the night. This town's freaky as hell with a lot of this stuff. So when you hear all that, like you kind of said what you thought with some of the stuff going on there. But there are some actual truths to this. So there's actually two churches in the town. There's the Boston Community Church and the Mother of Sorrow Church. When you hear these stories, they never specify what church it is. We can kind of assume it's the Mother of Sorrow Church for some of it and the Boston Community Church for other. Because the Boston Community Church has a basement, and in the basement there's office space, there's like children's area and stuff like that. So it makes sense maybe somebody came to the door, knocked on the door, was looking through this church, and this guy came and chased him out. Like, what the hell are you doing? You can't just come walking in here, waltzing in like you own the place when he's down there cleaning up and stuff like that.
So are these churches still like standing today?
As far as I know, yeah. It was really hard to like narrow down exactly which church they were, but as far as I know, like the Mother of Sorrow Church, when you look it up online, they're still, because it's a Catholic church, so it does mass every day. It still does mass. Yeah, it still does all that. Like they never actually tore these churches down. So yeah, like I said, it will be in the basement, will be a place. So logically, it would be a man that worked for the church after it closed. Candles being lit really isn't that weird, because a lot of churches, that's how they show, like a loved one passed in this church. You had a loved one that passed at the church. You'll come to the church, you'll light candles in celebration and memory of them and whatever. This isn't that weird. Even after churches closed down, this is, through time, this has been a typical thing that has been seen through churches.
But do they still have electricity in this area, though? Maybe they need candles to see.
They do. I mean, at these churches, because they're still open,
right.
Yeah, they have electricity.
I'm just picturing out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like rundown places, and I'm like, there's no way they got electricity.
You wouldn't think so, but
they do.
I guess they do, yeah.
Well, okay.
So the upside down crosses outside the church is one of like the when you look at the pictures.
Do they legit look upside down?
Yeah. So I have a picture here.
Before, and a lot of people say it's like the design or something.
That's what it is. Like yeah. So that's how like
people interpret it as being like an upside down cross.
Yeah.
But
it's Gothic design to all these churches.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, I could see how if you don't really know what you're looking at, they definitely do look like upside down crosses. But also, it's like, okay, yeah. And I talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, the truth of the matter is, when this town was bought, we were in the thick of satanic panic. This is when everybody wanted to blame the Satanists for doing everything, much like we're at right now in life.
Circle of life, baby.
Woo! So that's kind of like the story and the truths about the church. But that brings us to mutated animals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They be mutating animals now over there.
Well, we'll see. So this all started at the Kredge dump.
The dump.
The dump. So just north of town was this dump. And it was a toxic waste dump site. Mutated locals could possibly be the reason for the buyout of this town. But it also brought to life maybe a mutated creature with one of the coolest names. Brought to life the Peninsula Python.
Damn.
That's a wrestler somewhere, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It's gotta
if it's
be.
not, it should be.
Like down in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. The Peninsula Python. So just picture an enormous man-eating python big enough to swallow a man whole.
Or a peninsula.
The size of a peninsula.
We could eat a peninsula then, though.
Okay. I'm not going to get a whole lot of nutrition out of a peninsula.
There's a lot of people on a peninsula.
Well, if you're eating the people with it, yeah.
The
You
whole peninsula
didn't
with
say you're eating the people.
You're
Oh,
eating
yeah.
everything
you're right.
on the peninsula. Walmart's, Targets, Dunkin's, people.
Don't get me started on Duncan.
Dude.
I know how you feel.
Yeah, just move on.
So the government knew that this creature was there. This could possibly be a creature they used as a weapon of war. Some claim that they actually saw snakeskin within Helltown. People said they saw other mutated animals, 2-headed squirrels, 4-headed gerbils, 5-headed goats, 6-headed foxes. But the reality is the dump did have toxic waste. Because when the park rangers first took over this area and explored it, they all developed this disgusting rash and were super itchy. And they ended up realizing it and going back to the dump and realizing that her toxic waste from the dump was just left in barrels. Like they didn't dump it, but they just kind of left it in. Obviously, it leached out in the ground and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So this became a Superfund site, meaning it became a government-run cleanup facility. Background on the site: this was a family-owned junkyard. It originally took scrap metal. Eventually, it started taking other chemicals because the money was there. Ford and General Motors were said to be two of the companies involved. And the cleanup finally ended in 2020. So this was
2020?
Yeah, dude. This was a significantly long. And now when you look at it, it's just grass fields. Would never know it was a dump there or anything like that.
Dude, I wonder how much of that chemical waste is still kind of floating around there.
Oh, none of it. They got it all.
Wink.
No. Corey, the government said they cleaned it all up. We should be fine.
Yeah, they threw a little dirt over it and moved on.
So, knowledge of the toxic material, exaggerated stories, which birthed the legend of the python. Maybe. The python could be real for all I know.
They should have fed that son of a bitch in toxic waste to the python.
Well, that's how the python got so big, from the toxic waste.
Well, they should have kept feeding it.
Well, I can't argue with you if they wanted to have a true peninsula python. I wonder if the peninsula is just, that's the kind of python it is. Like, so there's the ball python, there's the peninsula python.
Maybe.
It's typically 50 to 60 foot long and...
Wait till you see the continent python.
The what?
Continent.
Continent python.
Yeah.
My brain thought you said the cotton on it, and I just pictured this python with a big cotton, like made of cotton, and it's like, it does not sound very intimidating. We'll be honest with you. Sounds awfully fluffy, and I want to pet it. All right. So I said earlier there's like a 1A and 1B of the scary, awesome stories of this. We're gonna get into the second of the really, really awesome, like mutated animals. Yeah, they're cool, they're fun. Now we're gonna talk about the abandoned school bus that sits on the property.
Dude, there's so many good stories about abandoned school buses and school bus wrecks and kids dying off a cliff and in the water. And dude, feed it to me.
All right. This is story time. Cue the music. On a warm fall day, a bus full of kids was heading home, driving through the upper Boston Township area. On a normal day, the kids were just excited to get home, acting crazy on the school bus. The driver didn't mind. He was just excited to get home. He had a cold beer calling his name. And as he navigated down the winding road, he noted what looked like a silhouette up ahead. As he approached, he saw a woman in the road in complete disarray. She was screaming that something was wrong with her husband. The driver put on the brake and climbed out of the bus, trying to comfort the woman. He didn't know what to really do. He didn't want to leave the kids on the bus all by themselves. Please, please, come with me. He needs help. He needs help, the woman screamed. I'll try and help, but I have kids. I got to get them home. Hold on. So the driver ran back onto the bus. Listen, kids, nobody open the door unless you see me come back. He showed a few of the older kids how to open the door and told them, just stay here. I will be right back. I will return. So he ran back out and he followed the woman into this fallen down, decrepit house. The home looked like it was barely fit for living, let alone a place for an older couple to call home. And the children knew something was off. They always heard of the weird things that happen around this area. My parents don't even like driving through here, one said. Another said, I'm sure it'll be fine. Why didn't he just keep driving? The kids were starting to become more and more scared. Wait, what's that? One kid yelled out. As the kids looked out the window, they started to see that the bus was surrounded by what looked like cloaked figures. They were walking out of the woods. It was odd. There was nothing else in the woods, just trees and brush. No houses, no lights, no anything for him to come from. Just the group popping out of nowhere. Bang! They heard from the rundown house, and the door blew open, and the driver came running out. The kids screamed, Don't open the door! But we have to. He's almost here. As he got to the door, they opened it, and the driver climbed in. He looked back at the kids. He started to talk, and the kids just stared at him, mouths wide open. Nothing came out right. But that made sense since the blood was shooting from the hole in his face where his jaw used to be. He collapsed, and as his body fell, the kids saw the cloaked figure standing in his place. This is the last these kids were ever heard or seen from. But the bus stayed parked in Helltown, where it sat for 40 years.
So it's gone now.
It's gone now that they finally took care of the town. But yeah, the bus actually sat in the center of this town. People would go up to it. There were paranormal investigators that were here. What are your thoughts?
I think it sounds like a damn scary story. But I think it sounds like something that local folks started about this bus that has been sitting there forever. They started this story that just over time transpired, grew legs, and turned into, what you just went over.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary.
So here's the thing. I made the story up for the most part because there is really no actual story. This is urban legend. Did you like the guy with the jaw block? I made all that up.
It was good.
I was pretty proud of that.
That was good.
Yeah.
You had me over here
So, but there is a story about this bus. Some people say it's the hooded Satanist. Some people say it was a serial killer, escaped mental patient. But the basis of this story is that there was an entire busload of kids in the middle of town that were killed.
So that's like the urban legend.
That's the urban legend, yeah. And that's where, I don't know, it just felt very story-worthy to kind of get across the scariness of, this would be scary as hell to just see an abandoned bus in the middle of an abandoned town. And paranormal investigators were drawn to this bus. And they'd go in, they would get EVPs of what sounded like kids screaming, what sounded like an angry man talking. People were said if they took pictures of the bus, they would see shadows in the windows. Did any of it really happen? No, none of this happened, at all. But, the paranormal stuff happened and all that.
Yeah.
But in reality, the bus was parked there because there was a family that was living in Helltown before their house got bought, and they were living in the bus as they were redoing their house. That's why the bus is there. Now, this bus is, imagine just a creepy, rusty bus, moss all over it, run down, tires, it's a creepy as hell looking bus.
Yeah.
But so it kind of brings a question. can something like this, can the paranormal be imagined up or brought out from a story? Like the stories of this bus, there is no, I'm telling you, there is no real, nobody was killed in this bus. But people get EVPs out of this bus.
So maybe it's intelligent spirits that kind of hear some of the lore going around in this area and then just.
So do you feel like in that way they're manipulating us then?
Yeah, I would say so.
Or at least manipulating the investigators that are coming there?
Yeah.
I mean, when you start to manipulate like kids screaming and crying for their parent, like that's messed up.
It is.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's an easy way for them to get energy off of you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That was just kind of my thought when I got through all that. It's like, what does it take to create a paranormal spot? Like, how deep do we have to get? How many? I guess you just need to really, if you have one person believe it, can that just be the start of it? As long as that has one person to feed off of, can we have something going here?
I think so. I think if it's like the right person that has the right concoctions.
Yeah. Do you think concoctions is in the story, or concoctions is if like they're just right to feed off of?
I think if they're just right to feed off of.
So, like just the right emotions and stuff.
I think so.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just something. I was like really, when I was writing all that and stuff, I was really thinking about that because it is interesting.
And I think, too, depending on if anything actually happened in this area, too, you know, if there was actually satanic rituals or things going
That's
on
true.
in this area, the
Yeah.
energy, all that energy, that dark energy and stuff's already there.
Yeah, because when you go through all these stories, like, yeah, that bus isn't, the bus is the one that you can say without the shadow of a doubt that it's not real, because
Yeah.
you can take that all the way back to the reason for the bus being parked there and everything. The satanic church and all that, I can't say that that's not real.
Right.
Even the Peninsula Python, I can't say that's not real. So now we're at Crybaby Bridge. Now, Crybaby Bridge is a broad term because there's the supposed quote-unquote Crybaby Bridge all over. There's one near us. You ever hear that?
I don't know if it's...
It's the one going out towards, like... Yeah, there's just a bridge that you park on.
Is
and
it
they
a covered
say,
bridge?
Yes.
Yeah, I used to go out there in high school.
Yeah. So that's essentially like a legend of Crybaby Bridge.
There's like a story that a bus crashed there, kids died in the creek.
Exactly.
You go out there and park on the
You
bridge.
could hear like
and you could
sloshing
hear-
down in the creek
and
and
hear
stuff.
like kids crying
Exactly.
and stuff. And
That's
every
Crybaby
time I
Bridge.
went out there, me and my buddies, Herman and Jenkins, we'd sit on the bridge.
And do
and
butt
then-
stuff.
No.
I can't help it. Sorry.
Son of a bitch.
It just came out. I couldn't. It flew out of my mouth so fast I couldn't even help it.
No, it's not the stuff you're used to.
You're right.
But we'd sit on the bridge, and every time, dude, within like 3 minutes, a car would come, and I'd have to drive off the bridge.
Yeah.
And I'd go back, and it was like constant.
Yeah. That's. Yeah, I don't know. Like these.
They say if you put baby powder, if you sprinkle
Same
baby
thing.
powder on
Yep.
your car, you can see.
Yep.
And I did that, and I did have little tiny fingerprints on my car. But
Yeah,
the
probably
thing
yours.
is,
Yeah.
it picks up. If
Everything.
you already had fingerprints on your
Right.
car, it's gonna
Any
pick
kind
it
of
up.
oil that's on your car
Yeah.
from it. Yeah. So that is essentially like literally coast to coast. There are Crybaby bridges all over. So that's what this town has. Park on the bridge, turn your car off. You'll hear the sounds of the baby crying. The legend has it that the mother, upset that the husband left her, her way of getting back at the husband was to throw her baby off the bridge. Obviously, the baby died, and that's why you hear the crying of the baby spirit. Same thing on here. They say that when you pull ahead or leave, you can look on the back of your car and the dust from the road and stuff, you'll see the fingerprints and all that. Same thing.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, this is a phenomenon that's just everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere.
I mean, I can tell you the place that we went to here locally to us, like, it is spooky as shit out
I've
there.
been
like
there.
The house,
Yeah.
there's like a house right before it sitting on the left that's like, I don't know if it's abandoned or if it's just kind of run down, if there's anybody living there and stuff, but like you get, like you legit get a spooky feeling.
Right.
being
there is a feeling, and
Yeah.
this goes back to my last point. If you go to places like this and you get these feelings, does something come from that?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And then there's the end of the world. So this is a haunted road in Helltown. And the legend has it that there's an evil force that will take over your car and drive you right off the road. And the road has steep drop-offs on different sides of it as you're going up. It's a super, super windy road. There's also a rumor that a satanic cult, the cult will stop your car. It'll surround you. They'll go like arm in arm, like chains, and your car will die and you won't be able to move, and they'll take you. And I don't know what they do.
Ooh. Got you.
Maybe whatever you and your buddies did. So the road is winding, so it's hard to stay on, and people are like thrill seekers, and you know the guys that have like the little European cars that are like wow 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 wow. They like to steer them, so they just like to fly up this road 1,000,000 miles an hour. So there are a lot of accidents on this road. There has been deaths over the years on this road. Most of that's just from people kind of being idiots. From what I gathered, maybe not. I don't know.
Just having fun.
They're just having fun. That's it. They're just having fun.
Yeah, hey, you guys can continue having fun. We ain't gonna judge you.
I will, but that I'm like an old man though.
Fun police.
Fun police. That's what I'm talking about. You get
Wee woo, wee woo.
pretty much. I go with the wambulance.
Ooh, I do like the wambulance.
Yeah, my kids do not like the wambulance when I start it.
Dude.
They get mad.
The kids at work, when I used to work with the juveniles and stuff, I'd get out the wambulance, and they did not like that either, dude.
My kids do not like it. Like, I know my son stood up and was ready to fight me the other day when I brought the ambulance in because I watched what happened, and it's like, no, dude, just stand up. You know, it's like.
I don't think I ever brought out the ambulance with my kids. I'll have to bring that out. I'll definitely get punched.
My littlest one. So I was sitting out in the kitchen at the kitchen table working on this episode, and I'm hunting and pecking like I do. Yep. And I just hear like this little pitter patter come out, and all I hear is a like square on my side, like where my my side fat is.
Kidney punch.
Yeah, he slapped the crap out of me, dude. Like to the point where my wife was like doing the dishes, turn around, she goes, "What was that?" And he just has a big goofy cheesy smile on his face, and off he goes. It's like, what? Why? What did I do to deserve that? That's just life living in my house, So I'm going to get into the last of the urban legends. There are some other ones that I didn't really touch on because they're not really any details on them. But I'm going to take the last one is going to go to the cemetery in Helltown. And one of the things that I found interesting with the cemetery is the original spot where, remember when I said all the way at the beginning when the founders came back and built a cabin on it?
Mm-hmm.
The cabin was built is where the cemetery is today. So the cemetery is literally like the OG of the town. This is where everything started in this town.
So that's where the original cabin was built. That is now a cemetery.
Yep, that's now a cemetery. And there are three main legends that come with this. So the first one is the spirit sitting on the bench. People drive past the bench and just see a person sitting there, staring, always staring in the same direction, doesn't move, and all of a sudden they look back, gone. Became better known as the staring man. So the reality, though, is who knows? Many people have seen it. It's always described the same exact way. Could it be a shadow or a grave or something playing tricks on them? Maybe, but we're also in a cemetery. This could just be a spirit. Who really knows? It seems plausible. You have the right. This isn't like just some made-up urban legend. We're in the middle of a cemetery, and when you read the stories on it and everything describes him exactly the same. I don't know. It seemed
that's kind of similar to what they call you, the staring man.
The staring man. They call me Barry Man.
No, they call you the staring man, except it's because you stare at men.
Well,
that's why.
I was wondering why they called me that.
Yeah, that's why.
So that's the answer.
Yeah.
So now I know. Well, I better crack a beer for that one. So the second legend that goes on there is the legend of the trees. So these trees in the cemetery are said to just move around.
What?
Yeah, it made me think of like the Hobbit vibes. The trees just move. So people say that the trees were actually cursed by a Satan. Everything goes back to Satanists. It almost becomes exhausting to just blame Satanists. I'm not blaming Satanists on everything. People blame Satanists on everything.
Yeah. Which, hey, where there's smoke,
there's fire. Where there's fire, there's flames. Where there's flames, there's chronic. Either you high, you ain't. So, cursed by Satanists, that they would guard the secrets of the cult. So they would be here. They would be able to guard the cemetery, guard the secrets, guard whatever the Satanists are doing in this area. And again, this is the same one where there's nothing to say whether it's true or not. I don't know. I've never seen a tree move personally. If you said you saw a tree move, I probably won't believe you. Until I saw a tree move.
Yeah. I can see Sasquatch moving some trees.
He does.
Picks them up and replants them upside down.
Supposedly. I feel like Bigfoot is like a really good one. Like, nobody believes in Bigfoot, and then you see Bigfoot. It's like, oh shit, I believe. I'm going to start a festival now.
I believe that we will win.
Okay. And then the last one, and I thought this one was a bit of a stretch with the cemetery, but they talk about that this goes back to the bust, the cult, the murderers, all that, however you want to say it earlier. There's a large amount of children in the cemetery. Now, this just kind of seems to me that you're walking through and you notice, of course you notice all, if you're walking through a cemetery and you notice a kid's grave, it's like, oh, but you notice some guy that's like 68 years old and died. It's like, oh, cool. Okay. I mean, maybe not cool, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, that's more normal.
Yeah.
Like, more...
So the kids all stand out in your head, all their stones and all that. So that's kind of, for the most part, the urban legends that go within Helltown. And what is Helltown today? Well, as of 2016, the town is totally freaking gone. Took over 40 years for them to finally tear down all the homes that they bought with the original acquisition of the town. So the cemetery still stands, the churches still stand, things like that still stand, but all the homes gone. And it's just national forest. So I have a couple final thoughts before we get in this episode, and just some I guess maybe theories that I had in my own head. I don't know. So this is the boring one, that this town was just crapped on like many other small towns. Like, we know how states are. The goals of the city are the goals of the city happen because at the expense of small towns. We're small towners, we know it. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it goes. When in Pennsylvania, when Philadelphia wants stuff, when Harrisburg wants stuff, when Pittsburgh wants stuff, that stuff happens. When small towns want stuff,
takes a while, or we don't get it.
We got to fight for everything, and it just, not to really play the victim card and stuff like that, but it's just, small towns usually, that's what gets it, There's also, so we're in this world where we talked about it earlier, there's certain files and stuff coming out. So if you don't think Satanists were out there after you read some of the reports coming out of the government and stuff now, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Because, and maybe these people aren't Satanists at all, but these cults, big following in this area. Is it crazy that the government would protect these people? Has the government ever protected people like this as far as we've ever known?
No.
Like
that guy on the...
Yeah, no.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. But... So when you start getting into these files and things like that, it's not totally out of the realm that maybe there was something going on in a town like this.
Can I connect something right here too?
Go for it, man.
I mean, you might connect it too, but you said 2016 they finally mowed down the houses and stuff in this place. I mean, that was around the time that a pretty big sex trafficker, child molester person was kind of sentenced.
Is that when that was?
I don't know what year that was exactly, but I know it was probably
close.
Close. So maybe there was.
Dude, he's out walking around right now.
Oh yeah.
You see the pictures of him just walking around? Like,
I think a lot of it. Well, quotes. A lot of it was proved to be AI.
Right.
But I was thinking if this stuff was going on there, you said there was a lot of children's graves and stuff. Okay, maybe there's a whistleblower okay, let's mow these places down so shit starts to grow up and stuff, and this place could be forgotten about. So that way, people don't start looking into this too much.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're here so these places won't be forgotten about. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I mean, I'm mainly here for the beer, but
Well, yeah. You're here for my good ideas.
yeah.
And I have a good idea coming at you right now.
Ooh, I'm ready.
So
Hold
I
on-
don't
hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay. So I don't totally believe, but the more I look into these places, these creatures, all of this, my mind has started to change since we started the podcast, you know? Could this place be some sort of portal? Could this be an area where there's some kind of creature or some unknown cryptid? Like, we look at Point Pleasant, right? Point Pleasant just so happens to be the perfect area for the government to come in and build these TNT facilities all over, okay? When you go look at a lot of Bigfoot sightings, Sasquatch sightings, that, all of a sudden these areas are really great areas in the middle of nowhere to build these, like, ranger huts and stuff. Government buildings right here. Pow. They have to be has to be right here. Is it really that crazy that all of a sudden they just decided, just overnight, this area has to be bought by the government. Everybody's got to be out of it, and we have to be able to control this area. Could there be a Bigfoot in the area that nobody's talking about? Could there be a creature in this area? Could there be a thin spot where they know that they can be able to manipulate into another dimension to get things? These are all things. I mean, if you would have asked me this like 2 years ago, I don't think I would have believed a lot of this.
We're in balls deep now.
Balls deep, dude. Dude, my freaking balls are flung over my shoulder, buddy. I'm freaking parachuting in here, like freaking the music's blasting. Free boo, yeah. Wow, 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 wow. That's how I feel. It's
Dude, I don't even know
crazy.
where my balls are at. That's
Freaking-
how balls
they're,
deep we are.
They're up in you and over your shoulder at the same
They're
time. You got one
gone.
and one.
I'm a girl.
But dude, there's just you are a girl. But there's a reason why the government wants these areas. I don't know what it is, and I probably never will know what it is, but I feel like it's weaponized warfare. That's what I think it is. So that's what I got. You got anything you want to add?
I think I pretty much shared my thoughts throughout the whole episode.
All right. I don't think Helltown's going to be like a folklore score.
So I guess before we wrap up,
Yeah.
do you think there's anything to this actual place? I mean, I know you kind of went over your last.
Do
little
I think
spiel
there
there.
is?
Like legitly, do you think there's something going on here, like paranormal, supernatural, whatever?
Part of me thinks a lot of the urban legends created in this area are to distract you from something that could possibly be really going on in this area. Do I think it's weird how quick the government came in there and bought this area? Yes. I feel like there's a reason they wanted to control this area. I don't know what that reason is. But yes, I think there's a reason they wanted to control this area. Do I think there's something going on in Helltown? Yes, but I don't think it's on the scale of what we know.
And it seems it's not adding up to me that they wanted all these people out so quick, and then they waited however many years to actually
Because
mow
they
down
didn't
the buildings.
actually give a crap about knocking down the town. They just wanted to own the area.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't want to go in there and get rid of. It wasn't until paranormal investigators and people like that came sneaking into this area to record, to try and get EVPs, to do all this kind of stuff in this area, to try and study this area, see what was going on in this area, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, we better get everything tore down. That's what it felt. That's what it feels like.
So do you think, based off of that, it's because they didn't want people in there figuring out what was actually going on there? Or was it people were just trespassing, you know, maybe doing graffiti, littering, stuff like that, and they mowed it down so that people would stop coming?
I don't think they wanted people in there because there were certain stories where people said that they'd be there with a group of friends, and like black cars would come rolling up, and people would come to, like, when they'd see the black cars, everybody would scatter because they knew this was somebody from the government that was coming in to make sure they left.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I think Do I think there's a mutant python? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to say no. Do I think there are satanic churches and stuff like that? I lean more towards no, but it's a possibility. The Crybaby Bridge and all that, no, I don't think that's a real thing. The school bus and everything, no, I don't think that's a real thing. But I do think there's something going on in this area. That's my thought. What's your thought after everything I kind of brought for you today?
I think it's something political, the government, that whatever it is they're trying to do, they're trying to keep it top secret, on the low, and they don't want other people catching on to whatever it is going on there. What it is, like you said, I don't know, we don't know, but it seems like there's something. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're pretty much in agreement there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
That's that.
That's that. That's Helltown, Ohio. OHIO. And if you liked what you heard here, make sure to give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, so you can see all our short form content. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you want to be able to watch our faces, be able to do an episode right now, if you're listening audio only and you're like, dang, dude, that Corey sounds sexy AF. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Yeah, I want to flip over and see that mug.
That's what I say every morning. I think about Corey. I flip over. Jeez, I want to see that mug. You're so smooth. If you want to see our faces, you can go over to YouTube. We are going to start trying to upload every single one of our episodes in video. We're going to start growing that YouTube up. So make sure to comment on YouTube, comment on Spotify, comment wherever you're listening to, because we like they make us feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, and he said we're trying to grow that YouTube, and the main reason is because we are growers.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're trying to grow and continuing to grow.
We're like the government. We're growers. We're not showers. We don't want to show you what we got, and we never will.
Yeah, top secret, baby.
So I'm Crack Daddy Mike. I'm out of here.
I'm the stupid BK Corey, and I'm out of here. Mike's the dumbest mother
Don't call
effer I
yourself
know.
stupid.
Mike's dumb.
Don't call yourself stupid.
Dumb Mike.
Corey's stupid. Corey's stupid. Corey's stupid. Corey's stupid. Corey's stupid. Corey's stupid.
Let's join the quest.